Hi guys, Storm Chaser John McKinney here, and in this video I'm going to tell you how to prepare for freezing weather. Now let's begin. So looking at forecast models, they are predicting that freezing temperatures are going to work their way all the way down into the deep south. Looking at this NAM model, it shows the freeze line going all the way down to the coasts, the Atlantic coast, the Gulf Coast, making its way down into Florida. And this is a look at what's forecast to happen on Monday. Monday, the temperatures are going to plunge. Not only will that happen on Monday, but then we see another round coming back on Tuesday. And on Tuesday, we see the freeze line working its way all the way down, even into Mexico, beyond the border of Texas. So it's going to be very, very cold. Even out here on the West Coast, in some places, freeze line touching the coast. Higher elevations, getting down to freezing. Now, for people like me who live in Nebraska, up here in Nebraska, that's no big deal. We're used to these temperatures now. It's forecast for us to be -6, somewhere around there, and but we're used to that. But not only is the temperature going to be cold, but there's going to be winds associated with these temperatures as well. So looking at the wind speeds here, look how these winds at the 850 millibar are pushing north. It's going to be cold, and so you add that wind on top of the cold temperatures, and so you have a wind chill that makes it feel much colder than it really is. Now, last night we had a cold front come through, and as you can see, this blue line here is a cold front, and it's working its way south. And so with that, the temperatures are plunging. So right now, this is showing that the temperatures around here, Columbus, Nebraska, 12 degrees. So the temperature has already fallen. Yesterday, the temperature here was 47 for a high, which is quite unusual for January for Nebraska. So we really enjoyed, actually we enjoyed about 3 days of temperatures in the 40s. And that felt really good when we're used to having temperatures much lower. But these temperatures are expected to plunge as this cold front right here works its way south, along with north winds coming out of the Canada, just blowing down, bringing that cold air along with it. So things are going to be cold. And so one of the things that I want to do to help you prepare is to give you some tips on how you can prepare for this cold weather that's working its way all the way down, basically covering the entire United States. So living in the South, and if you're faced with some cold weather, temperatures below freezing, at freezing, below freezing, here's some things that you need to be aware of and you need to consider. Now, when water freezes, we all know this, when water freezes, it expands. It expands out, and it causes problems. So anything that's containing that water expands as well, and it tends to break. So one of the things you need to do is things around your house, like your watering systems. You know, if you have a hose, it would be a good idea to unhook that hose from the faucet. Also, unhook the sprinkler or whatever it's attached to, a nozzle. Unhook that nozzle as well, And then take your hose and then get on one end, lift the hose up like this, because gravity will allow the water to get out. Lift that hose up and then work that hose along and get that water out of the hose, because you do not want it to damage your hose. If you have a sprinkler system, some of you maybe have a garden, you have one of these nice elaborate sprinkler systems where you have all these little pipes going around and it's going to water your garden. Well, you might consider unhooking that and draining it the best as possible, because you do not want to damage that watering system. Even thinking about your car, so if you should have, like in your washer fluid in your car, you should add some washer fluid in there that's designed for all weather, that will withstand freezing temperatures, because you don't want something to break within the car system that will cause something to malfunction. So it's a good idea to work on that as well. Plants need to be protected. If you have potted plants out around your house, it'd be a good idea to bring those inside if you can, or at least bring them into the garage, or cover them at the bare minimum. Sometimes even covering plants doesn't help, because it gets so cold it causes them to be damaged anyway. And I learned that lesson the hard way. I planted up to 30 cherry trees, Japanese flowering cherry trees, Yoshinos and Kwanzan, and various cherry trees on my property. And I thought they were designed, they had a hardiness zone of zone 5, and I thought that was going to be enough. But no, it wasn't. Boy, the freeze, the extreme cold temperatures affected them, and I ended up losing almost all of them. So it's a good idea to take care of your plants. And of course, just preparing for the cold weather, you want to, dress warm, stay warm, all those things that you need to do. But it's coming. The models are showing it right here, that you're going to get some very cold weather, and it's going to go into the deep south. So, as always, if you enjoy this content and you would like to be informed on other future both live streams and videos, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, as I'll be going live from time to time excuse me, with severe weather and other major events. So thank you, and I hope you have a great weekend coming up, and also are ready for the cold weather.